Hello and welcome to Thursday's programme. I'm John T. Messer.
And I'm Victoria Davis. Coming up tonight between now and 6:30.
Good evening. Businesses remain affected tonight by a huge blaze that ripped through a business park in Weston-super-Mare.
Gas cylinders caused a number of fire. Investigators today said they thought it was started accidentally. Ellie Pitt reports.
Now, people entitled to the free winter flu jab are being urged to take up the offer or risk blocking much-needed bed space in our hospitals.
Well, the number of mainly elderly people being admitted to intensive care units with flu jumped more than 200% last winter, and there are fears of a repeat if warnings aren't heeded.
Well, in a moment we'll be getting the latest advice from John Roberts from Public Health England. But first, Richard Payne has this report. So let's get more on this from John Roberts, who is from Public Health England. John, thanks very much. Of elderly groups getting that vaccine, but there are other groups as well that you want to have the jab as well.
Absolutely, yeah, thank you.
There are a lot of primary school children are coming home with that consent form for their parents to sign, but some are reluctant because they're a little bit worried about the safety of the vaccine. Should they be worried?
As well, so children get a really good immune response.
Of course, the whole idea of this is to prevent people getting flu in the first place, and also hopefully prevent them having to go into hospital, especially the elderly that Richard referenced in his report. Just how big a difference could it make as we head into what is a very traditionally a very busy time for the NHS?
Yeah.
It wasn't that great last year, was it?
It wasn't as great as we...
OK, let's turn to other news in the region now. The Russian Foreign Ministry has dismissed claims that the real identity of one of the suspects behind the Salisbury nerve agent attack is in fact a top-level intelligence officer and not a tourist.
The South Western Ambulance Service has now been rated as generally good, with some outstanding features by health watchdogs. But
the future of one of the oldest department stores in the country could be decided upon shortly. The new owners...
The Unite Union has called the construction of Hinkley Point Nuclear Power Station an enormous jobs generator for the South West. Now, a former soldier who survived being blown up in Afghanistan only to become paralysed and lose his legs in a climbing accident on the Avon Gorge says he's determined not to give up his favourite pastime.
Will Bennett's family are now holding a series of events to raise funds to get him an all-terrain wheelchair so he can return to his love of the outdoors and to climbing as well. Ken Goodwin reports. And best of luck with your recovery, Will. Now, you are watching ITV News here in ITV News West Country with Vix and John T. Thanks very much for joining us. Still ahead before 6:30. Mark.
Well, the ITV News continues with the national and international stories at 6:30. Here's Mary Nightingale with the details.
But next on our programme, as the clock counts down to the UK leaving the European Union in 6 months' time, the use of Euro jargon seems to be growing.
Well, we keep hearing it, but what does it actually mean? Our reporter Ashna Harinag has been decoding some of the most common phrases.
And that was Ashna Harinag with that report there. Now, today is a special one for Wiltshire Police because the force is marking the 100th anniversary of its very first female officer. Florence White started working for the force in September 1918.
Well, currently the Wiltshire Force has 376 female police officers, which is about a third. So what is it like to be a female officer in 2018? Well, ITV News West Country has been speaking with some serving police officers and community support officers to find out.
So some really interesting views of what it's like being a female police officer and Wiltshire Police Force there. But is having a 1/3 ratio of female officers good enough? Well, today the force hosted a conference to encourage women to join South West police forces. Well,
earlier Wiltshire's Chief Constable Keir Pritchard told us what needs to be done to improve rates of equality.
And that was Wiltshire's Police Chief Constable Keir Pritchard speaking there. Now, next tonight, the battle against plastic pollution took a step forward today with the first ever National Refill Day. Bristol has more than 400 refill stations where people can go and get their reusable bottle filled up for free.
Well, this afternoon, the campaign group Refill Bristol was out signing up more companies. Well, our reporter Rishi Davda is at the Avon Gorge, a beautiful location, but one that's often blighted with plastic. So, Rishi, will this campaign help stop the blight of plastic at that backdrop there? Absolutely. Rishi, thanks so much for that.
Well, as you saw there, it has been another lovely day right across the whole region. Plenty of autumn sunshine around. But I'm sure you've probably noticed, I certainly have, a little bit of mist in the morning as well. Well, our weather forecaster, Charlie, has been looking at what causes it. Charlie, thanks very much indeed. Now, before we go, let's remind you of the main headlines here in the West Country this evening.
Well, that's all we've got time for this evening, but I will have the late news for you at 10:30 as usual.
Now, though, we'll hand you to Mary Nightingale as the ITV News continues. From all of us, whatever you're doing, enjoy that autumn sunshine. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.